Hi and welcome to WoW Flash. This is my weekly look at all the news from Warcraft from the past 7 days. And stream schedule I'll talk about at the end of the video as always. So obviously all the big news is to do with patch 7.2.5 with one exception, which I suppose we should talk about first, which is that another luminary of recent World of Warcraft has moved on within Blizzard, which is Brian Holinka, who has been in charge of PvP for World of Warcraft for the past apparently 5 years. Now, I am not really into PvP in World of Warcraft, but it's worth just talking about a couple of things. First of all, he did note himself that when he announced it, which is yesterday, that people were very kind on Twitter, not so kind on Reddit and forums. Welcome to the internet, Brian. But it is a bit harsh, I think. I think it's one of those jobs where if we're fair, I mean, I can't really comment whether he's done a good job or a bad job. I'm not a PvP player. And it's very difficult to say that of most developers because sometimes you just have loud developers and quiet developers. It's always very difficult to know which developer is responsible for which features, isn't it? I suppose when it's PvP, though, it's much more, well, anything related to PvP is your fault. And of course, with PvP, as you can read on any PvP forum, no one's happy, are they? No one is ever happy. PvE, sometimes people are happy. Not all the time, but sometimes people are occasionally happy. PvP, not so much. Because with PvP, everyone else's class is overpowered and yours is always underpowered and weak. And, you know, you're doing the best with your impressive skill, but yeah, it's not quite good enough, is it? So I suppose that's a poison chalice of a job, and I'm not quite sure who's going to get it next. Celestalon has been piping up, so I don't know whether he's in line for it or not. In terms of things more in my realm and PvE type stuff, so Blizzard said before the patch, there's no point in saving up your caches because you can't get the new legendaries from them. I sort of advised at the time, if there's no harm in doing it, then do it. Because what's the harm at the end of the day? You're not losing out. And indeed, turned out to be the case. A load of people, first of all in North America, it released a date early there, had saved up a load of caches, including the Broken Shore caches that you get for war supplies. That's the key one. And we're indeed getting new legendaries. I'm not saying it was like common, but, you know, across the whole spectrum of World of Warcraft players, some people were indeed getting legendaries from them, including the new legendaries. So, I mean, immediately people were saying then, oh, yo, Blizzard were lying again. I don't think they were lying. I just think, you know, they just made a mistake again. But it comes down to one of those things. Blizzard always, before every patch, there's always some idea for hoarding something, isn't there? And the Blizzard always say, you know, they always want, and it's fair enough, I agree with this, they don't really want people hoarding stuff. They want to use it there and then. So they try and put things into place so that you're not going to profit from doing that. But sometimes it just obviously doesn't work out. I mean, it's obviously very complicated things and something just may not work. And that seems to be what's happened here. I was actually laughing about it and suggesting that maybe a developer had said to the tech guys, right, we need these caches not to give out the new legendaries. And the tech guys were probably going, yeah. Bugger that, my character needs the new legendary. I'm going to keep it in. But I don't know what actually happened. There's also been, as you might expect, when one of these patches comes out, which means a lot of class changes, much gnashing of teeth with regards balance. Now, it has to be remembered this. They brought the patch out a week before the new raid. The new raid is when it matters. I understand that there are people who still want to push and get that final progress to finish something off this week. But, you know, the new raid is next week. That's when the balance has to be pretty good. And then for the mythic one, which is another week after that, remember, that's when, you know, it's got to be good. You can't be having people suffer in that situation. So there is a lot of imbalance at the moment. A lot of people are sort of pointing to Nighthold performances, though, and sort of saying it's really bad. Actually, it's not. I think a lot of people, certainly my spec, is clearly weaker, but not bad. And in Nighthold, the problem comes is whether you're going to be good enough for Tomb of Sargeras, with very different fights, by the way. That's the key thing. You know, you might have a character that's got certain strength in certain types of fight. Tomb of Sargeras fights very different to Nighthold fights, and obviously the set bonuses. But there is a tuning patch coming out. It is believed that it is imminent. I mean, I'm talking, it's late at night here. I've delayed doing this because I was hoping Blizzard would actually announce the tuning. Maybe they're doing it as I'm speaking. That'd be typical, wouldn't it? I am very much hoping it will come out before the weekend. I know it's coming out this week. It's good to come out the weekend because then it means people can digest it and actually say sensible things when the developers go back to work on Monday, by which they've still got, I suppose, 24 hours to put anything out through before Tomb of Sargeras goes live in North America. And then they've still got that data, the Tomb of Sargeras data, normally in Heroic, which is not that big a deal for, you know, the guilds that are going to clear it in that week. Obviously, it's not progress for them. So, and the guilds who aren't, well, if they have a bit of a slow start to it, is it that big a deal? As long as it's right for the following week. There is something I didn't notice, actually. I did a series of videos, because they brought out as well a load of hot fixes. Like, they had the patch notes, and I did several videos on what was coming in the patch that I thought was important. And then they made a load of changes on the last minute, like literally the last minute. They are known to do this, but they're quite a lot. One of the things I hadn't noticed, though, and I don't remember reading in the patch notes, maybe it was there, maybe it wasn't, maybe I should have seen it on the PTR, maybe I didn't, is the Blood Vendor, actually. So the Blood Vendor has always sort of sold order resources at the rate of, what is it, 200, 250, I can't remember, per blood. They're offering a new big box now. So if you're sick of having to click or even use the macro, because you can't shift click the order resources, which is really annoying, they've now introduced shift click for everything else on the Blood Vendor, but not the order resources, but you can still use the old macro. But you can also now buy a big box of 4,000, sorry, for 20 blood. Yeah, it must be 200 order resources per blood. Yeah, so you can buy it at 20, 20 bloods at a time effectively in the one big box, which also saves room in your bag for sending it off. You've got a load of bloods, you want to send it off to an alt who's just leveled up, because then they want to get all their order hall research done and send off on expensive missions, stuff like that. You can do that even quicker now, so that's actually quite a good change. But the most interesting, I would say, of the change, there were a lot of big changes, I would say, that were done at the last minute. But the most interesting, I think, was the fact that you can get crafted gear up to 900 now. Because that even puts Mythic Raiders in a position of going, I wonder if I can better itemize them. Maybe you've got a 905 piece and you think, well, a better itemized 900 piece could be better. So there's a few people who have been doing that. They've also swapped some tier bonuses around, includes my spec. Now, the rationale behind this is Blizzard want the 4-piece to be the better bonus. Which is fair enough. So for some bonuses, including the ret one, the 2 set was actually the better bonus, so they've swapped them around. That's the reason they've swapped them around. It's not just to annoy people. It's because they want the 4 set to be the better bonus, which actually is fair enough. I'm not going to argue against that. And the other thing is there's always a few things it's very difficult to tell from PTR. So even though the patch is live, we're still not getting the higher item level from the new Mythic Plus cap. So if we do like a plus 15 this week, we're not going to get the new item level thing from the cache next week. That's put off until Tomb of Sargeras releases. So I think that waits till next week so that we get the higher item level stuff when the Mythic launches, basically. Seems to be how that works. So that's pretty much the news for this week. So I'll just quickly go over my streaming options again. It's now settled into a bit of a pattern. So tomorrow, Saturday, the 17th of June, 3 PM UK time. All these times are UK time. I'll be streaming some Elder Scrolls Online again for 2 or 3 hours. There, I'll be able to chat about whatever, though. It can be about Elder Scrolls Online. It can be about WoW. It can be about whatever. Tuesday, the 20th, it will be at 7 PM UK time, is when I'll be doing my Tuesday Talk again, which is just a World of Warcraft discussion. It can cover anything. You can talk about whatever you want to do with World of Warcraft. I suppose Tomb of Sargeras will feature strongly there, although we had a good lore discussion in the last one as well. And then Wednesday the 21st, again, I will stream, it's the only time I really stream gameplay at the moment, I will stream my Guild's Raid. I've been experimenting a little bit with that one the last couple of weeks. I can't say what we're going to be raiding. It may be raiding Tomb of Sargeras, it may not. We haven't, as far as I know anyway, decided exactly what we're going to raid on each of the days next week. But I will be streaming our raid, whatever we happen to be doing anyway. So thanks for watching, and until next time, I'll see you later.